Welcome back everybody to the channel. It has been a hot minute since we last uploaded. It's been a while since we've been even on iRacing actually. Speaking of which, coming at you with a brand new iRacing video. This time around in the GT3 class of cars here in Road Atlanta. First time actually for me driving the GT3 cars. Let's have a quick look at the map. 12 corners in total. I want to say crucial corners are probably T1, T5 and potentially T7. I want to say if you get good momentum out of T7, really be able to get greater speed down that back straight, leading up to, of course, I think probably one of the more crucial corners, T10, 10A, 10B, that chicane there. It's vital that you get really good exit speed out of 10B in particularly. Just hang the arse out, on the outside curb. And it's a rolling start as we've sort of fast forwarded here towards the end of the warm-up lap, or formation lap, however you want to call it. And qualified 7th if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, let's go racing. Pace car is peeled off into the pit lane, coming across around the final corner onto the main straight, and it's green, green, green. We're away. Everybody jockeying position. It is always, in my opinion, when it comes to GT3 class of cars, it can get quite eventful. A lot of carnage can happen, particularly in T1 of any particular race. And that's coming off my experience in the 911 GT3 class of cars. There's always carnage in that particular series, and everybody managing to make it through fairly unscathed. I think that Ferrari up ahead absolutely monstering that overtake as the Ferrari in front of us managing to lose it and go off the track. Same with this Lamborghini Huracan coming back onto the track, slotting in front of us. We'll have to have a look at the replay a little bit further down the line, but so far we've managed to make it through the first part of this lap onto the back straight now without too much issue. There was that AMG GT3 in front of us as well. Unfortunately, they seem to have gotten caught up in a bit of trouble there and fallen behind us, and we managed to make up I think one spot. We're up to P6 at this point. And coming up to 10B, as I said, you just get on the throttle, hang the arse out onto the outside curb and just slide the car off the exit, and same through T12 onto the main straight, cross the start finish line to finish off lap 1. Wow, it was it was pretty intense for me, and like I said, this is the first time I'm actually racing the GT3 class of cars. It's been mainly Formula cars that I've been sort of focusing on iRacing, but it was really interesting to jump into GT3 racing. I want to say it definitely has a lot more excitement and action compared to Formula Series. As you can see here, the Ferrari in those Gulf livery colors. We look behind us, the black Ferrari is still hanging in there, but there's Huracan and that Ferrari up ahead sporting those Gulf livery colors, jockeying for position as off goes the Huracan. Will take that P5. Thank you very much. No idea what happened there. I think they just sent it full on into the T6 there. Probably overcooked the brakes, and you can see black Ferrari right behind us still hanging in there. And now on the back straight, trying to get into the slipstream here and just basically trying to drive a clean race. And honestly, the only reason I even really jumped into this race was because I just happened to have the AMG GT3 car from a league race where they were using it as a safety car, so I had to download it, purchase it, that is. And so I thought, I have it, why not give a go at GT3 racing? We come across the line to start off another lap. We're trying to just hold station here, trying to maintain that gap to the car in front of us and the car behind us up to T3 now, as we're going to slide it through T3. And honestly, I want to say T3 is also fairly crucial. If you get the entry really well, if you do really well, it really sets you up for these S's down and up into T5, then where you can slide the car up. You can see the Porsche and Ferrari jockey for position up ahead of us, allowing us to get better momentum and make the pass on the Ferrari into T6. And we'll get the job done now. Up into P4, T7 now. Again, very crucial to make sure that you really want to brake earlier than you'd expect, at least in my experience. Again, I am driving the AMG GT. I'm not really sure what the meta is in terms of what is the best car. I did a little bit of, research here and there to figure out what is the car that people tend to sort of gravitate towards. And I want to say it's quite rare to see the AMG GT as we get really hard on the brakes, get so close on the Porsche. I want to say it wasn't the tidiest of braking in my opinion. The AMG GT3 car, I want to say, is fairly forgiving in my opinion, but you can still overcook it, and you'll see throughout this race I'm getting quite squirrely out of exits of certain corners just because I'm just leaving the brake into the very last moment, getting a little bit too greedy and over-eager. And basically, after the initial phase of this race, I'm trying to settle into a rhythm, and as we have a look, the rear of us, we can see the field is still there hanging in, trying to claw their way back, but we're maintaining a gap so far. And coming out of T5, really, you can take a lot of track off the exit. Again, people will probably look at this and comment on track limits, but when it comes to GT racing, it's quite forgiving in terms of the track limits. You can really be quite liberal in how much track you can take off the exit of a corner as we come onto the back straight now, and we seem to have that momentum. As I said, if you can nail T7, that really gives you that momentum. Now, I decided to just hold station right behind the Porsche just to put the pressure on them as we head down into T10, 10A, hard on the brakes, down to second gear, through 10A, and then out 10B, foot hard to the floor, and we get that momentum and we can get the pass done on the Porsche. Very important on T7, like I said. If you can get that really good entry, sets you up for a great exit off that corner, and then you have really great momentum leading onto that back straight where you can just really hook onto the car in front of you in terms of the slipstream. And in that particular situation, you could have probably passed them, but I decided to just hold right behind them, as I believe we just saw a car go off, sailing into the side of the track there. I think that was our fellow AMG GT3 comrade. Pretty unfortunate for that guy. Yeah, he was positioned in a very great spot to start the race, but I think they just got monstered at the very start of the race, and they just sort of started to tumble down the order. I've been there many times, and honestly I was really surprised that I've made it this far in this race. And basically that's it. So let's have a quick look at the replay of the start here. Everyone is off. Sometimes these rolling starts can be a little bit tumultuous, people going earlier than they need to. Everyone then starts checking up, and you can see there that AMG GT just gets swallowed up by that Ferrari in the blue-orange Gulf livery colors, and that Ferrari just finds grip out in the outside line out of nowhere, and we managed to get down the inside of the AMG GT as well. And you can see somehow everyone made it through, but it was basically 3 wide into T1. Absolutely crazy. And then coming off the exit of T5, black Ferrari in front of us loses it, goes off track, will take that position. Same with the Lamborghini Huracan, which I believe they were running P1, and unfortunately they lost it. Again, I've been there many times myself, and by the way, this wasn't like the top split. I think this was like second last split. So I'm by no means a professional race car driver. I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm having a ball, absolutely. And you can see, here we go, that's the replay of the Huracan going off. Absolutely unfortunate for them, as we managed to get that place as well. Take opportunities where they arise, as we have a replay of that Ferrari in front of us and that Porsche jockeying for position. Allows us to have better momentum off the exit of T5, and we can get that overtake done as well. And then now, this was the one where potentially I could have passed the Porsche. We were using the slipstream on the back straight, but I decided to just put the pressure on, force them into sort of a defensive position and compromise their momentum going into 10A and exit in 10B, which then allows us to set ourselves up for a much better exit, and then we get the job done. And now, as we fast forward, we have somehow, I don't know how I managed to do this, but somehow managed to catch up to P2, this blue and yellow Ferrari in front of us. It was a few laps, really. I had to really just grind to try and catch up to this guy, because this was basically the penultimate lap, if I'm not mistaken. there's really nothing in it towards the end of this race, basically, and there was quite a substantial gap between us and this Ferrari, especially after we passed the yellow Porsche behind us, hard on the brakes, down to second gear, through 10A, 10B. Again, the AMG GT, in my opinion, very forgiving. Haven't driven the other cars, obviously, but in my limited experience here, coming out of 10B in particular, great example of just how forgiving this car is. You can just slam the throttle and it'll just hook up. Yes, this is a fixed fixed setup, so the traction control is turned all the way up, same with the ABS and everything, but it just hooks up and away you go. And there you go, T3. I think that's where that Ferrari has been making the mistake, as we get that position up to P2. But in true JZhotspot style, it isn't over as I cook it, exit in T5, and here he comes again. So he's not necessarily down on pace, he was hanging with us despite that overtake. And for the record, this is the final lap, so it is do or die at this point. Again, T7, very crucial to get that turn in, and we managed to get it done, get that momentum off the exit, and now getting into that slipstream. And once again, I decide to just hold station behind him without necessarily trying to pass and just put the pressure on. You do get incident points for contact, but I thought, let me see if I can sort of get a little bit of a, bump draft going, but didn't work, and the pressure paid off either way as the Ferrari goes sailing off and we get that overtake done. Was it a bit cheeky? Let me down and let me know down in the comments down below as we cross the line. P2, baby, let's go. What a crazy race. Oh my goodness. At least in my opinion, this was the first time I've ever driven in this GT3 class of race. Obviously I've driven the Porsche 911 GT3 series. I've done I think a video or two of that. You guys can go check that out as well. But I feel like, man, this AMG GT car is absolute chef's kiss in my opinion. I've driven the Mustang that came out recently. I feel like it feels a little bit too loose, and the force feedback feels a little bit light in my opinion as well. But whereas this AMG GT is very communicative, you can really feel the road surfaces and everything. The way the iRacing devs have really sort of developed and programmed this car, I feel like really just lends to the way I tend to drive. And yeah, it really wasn't too hard to get up to speed with getting comfortable with this car, really. And I would have thought it would be very understeery, considering the design of this car, the long bonnet, and obviously front engine, rear wheel drive still. So you'd think, oh, oversteery, but no, there is still a little bit of understeer. But again, I found it fairly easy to get up to pace with how to cope with the way this car behaves. And what a result. P2, second step on the podium. I will take that and retire off into the pits. This car is so low, like, you're sat so low you can't even see the pits when you crest in. Here at least in Road Atlanta. So into the pits we come. I really hope you guys enjoyed this race. Again, been a hot minute since I've uploaded, so please do consider leaving a like and leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, particularly on those couple of overtakes with the Porsche and the Ferrari. Were they fair? And as always, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Catch you guys in the next video.